Let's see if this is working. Hello, everyone. Oh my God, of course, it goes straight to my desktop computer. But we're going to do a couple of fixes real quick, and then I'm going to say hi to everyone. Just give me one quick second. That's Luna, if you can hear her. Let's see. If you all can hear me and see me okay, before I continue talking to uh, the air. Let me see. Awesome. All right, now just give me one quick minute while I figure out how to use technology here. All right, we're gonna try one more thing. Give me like another 30 seconds, and then we will start. Let's see. All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and catch up on chat real quick. Good morning, everyone. Good morning from Los Angeles. Mark, so good to see you here. I am sorry for this. I'm so just a little too early. Oh, that is not a problem at all. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Wolf Pack. So good to see all of you. I know it's actually been, let me see, I think 5 weeks since my last upload. Good morning, Raramore, Tassia, Tina, Peter. Good to see you. Photography. I love that name. That's fun. Eric, good to see you. Angela, Uncle Dragon. That'd be a good game name. Impy Imp. Hello, Emily. Rosie, good to see you here. Thank you for being here and for pretty much setting up this entire Potion Con. Y'all, today, if you haven't seen the title already, it is Potion Con, first ever, and I am so honored and excited to be here, um, helping out with this event. So, first off, let's talk about Potion Con. So, Potion Con is an event set up by Cardboard Alchemy. They are obviously fantastic people to work with. They are really, really fun, and the entire event today has a whole lineup of creators. So there's just so many things that's happening right after this. We'll talk about the whole schedule in a little bit, but I'm very excited for a bunch of these creators to be here. Kim Joy, Grant, um, we have Thinker Themer. Jenna's gonna be here in a little bit. I know she's live streaming right now too. Hi, Jenna. I think she's live streaming on her own YouTube channel, but she'll be here later this evening playing some games. So we have a ton of fun things scheduled. We'll talk all about it. But I did want to catch up with you all real quick. Claire, hi. Teresa, good morning. Or hi from where are you from? It's morning over here. I am from Los Angeles, Teresa. So Pacific. I actually don't even know where I am at the moment. I've actually been traveling a ton, like all over the place, out of the country, out of state, and I don't even know if I'm jet lagged anymore and what time it is. But we're living and we're continuing on. Good morning, Squirt. Hello. Indonesia. Wow, so what time is it over there then, Tasia? Streaming from Massachusetts. Oh, let me know where you all are watching this from. I That's like one of the most exciting things for me to see. Wow, the time zones are all over the place. That is insane. I'm sorry I'm keeping you up so late, but I appreciate you all so much for joining me. But yeah, so some quick little updates for the channel, and you know what? I don't even know how I'm gonna show my little TED Talk presentation, but we're just gonna talk about it, and it's gonna be fine. It's gonna work out because it's funny. Last night past 2 days actually. I've been testing this live streaming setup, going on OBS, and right before this, Bonds was telling me how streaming on a Mac with OBS and a DSLR camera is just out of this world, a little complicated, but I wanted to do it. And worst comes to worst, which is right now, it would just show my desktop screen because I do have my DSLR pointed like right here. And of course, last night when I tested it, everything was perfectly fine. Audio was good. We had the mics. We had the main angle set up with my R5, top down setup. But we were getting real fancy, and I had OBS going. I tested live, but you know how things go when you're you're practicing for something and things just don't work out, but we just roll with the punches. 5 p.m., 11 p.m., SF, Texas. Oh, we got another one from California too, and Ireland. Oh my god, I really, really want to go to Ireland. That would be a ton of fun. People always talk about the castles in Ireland, and that's one thing I would love to see. But anyways, good morning, all. For channel updates, like I said, it's been a lot of traveling for the past couple about 6 weeks now. We did go to some international trips. I have some vlogs planned, got some other videos planned. And this time I'm not just like speaking out of thin air. Okay. These videos are done. It's a matter of me making some refinements and editing some vlogs. Been traveling to Portland and also went to another event in Missouri that we'll talk all about on the channel later on. But if you haven't already seen already, today's focus is going to be all about Critter Kitchen, which I'm so freaking hyped about. Go ahead and check out the description down below if you want to see a link to the preview of the Kickstarter. We're talking about Critter Kitchen today, all day today. Look at that beautiful game back there. Look at that. Now, Critter Kitchen, if you haven't seen the preview, it is up on my YouTube channel. But if you have any questions about the game, I am more than happy to answer them here. I know there's some very, very common questions that we'll get to as the stream goes on. But with the preview that went up, I think about like 10 minutes ago on my channel, it was one that I filmed with me and Bonds, pretty much like always nowadays. And the style, I wanted to talk about the style that we filmed, and I'm going to break down some scenes. Um, and I'll leave like a link to the PowerPoint presentation on my YouTube channel. So in case for anyone that is tuning in later on, you can definitely check it out on your own time and see the slides that I was talking about before we get into it. So speaking of that, let me go ahead and pull that up here. I made it on Canva. Canva makes things so much easier. I wish I had Canva back in college. Back then, we made like an empty slate from PowerPoint, use those little wacky templates, and just try to animate things one by one. It's pretty funny. Hey Peter, yep, rolling in with tech punches today at PotionCon. I'm sure everyone else is gonna have like spot on setups and everything, but we're gonna roll with what we got here. Foglight, hello, thank you for being here. Come to come to Canada. Come on, see all those pictures back there? Most of them are all from like the top row. Actually, it's all Canada except the last one right there. Right there. That one was taken in Seattle, but the rest right there all from Banff, which I would love to go to one day. Good morning, Ed, Andre, Impian. Oh, you played Critic Kitchen on Tabletopia last night, huh? And you loved, yep, exactly. Loved it too. So for those of you that don't know where Critter Kitchen is, let me go and tell you a little bit about it. Critter Kitchen, you are a restaurateur, and you're competing to have the best restaurant. Plays from 2 to 7 players at launch. Go ahead and tune into the Kickstarter for some more information about that. But how this game works is ultimately there are like 3 steps that I talked about in the preview. So in this game, what you're doing is you're playing as a restaurateur, and you can have multiple asymmetric abilities with a ton of different chefs, illustrated by the one and only Sandara Tang. Sandara is doing she has a segment today at 4 p.m. drawing critters live. Can't wait to tune into that. But ultimately, you're sending out three kinds of chefs on your turn. You have a boar chef, you have a lizard chef, and you have a mouse chef. With those three chefs, they each have something unique about them because they have a different carrying capacity. Because ultimately, you're trying to carry out ingredients at different restaurant locations. So the first mechanism is pre-programming. And with that pre-programming, when you play out your different chefs, you're pretty much sending out your chefs to different locations without having everyone know what it is. So it's all like done in secret. And this is like, for me, the funnest part. I don't know if I'm allowed to say opinions on this, but whatever. I'm going to tell you what I love about this game because I really do enjoy it a lot, or else I wouldn't be covering it. But with this game, right? So you're sending out your chefs, three different chefs, different carrying capacities, and different speeds. That's really important too, because your mouse chef, everyone playing all these different mice, are going to be the fastest types of chefs, unless you well, actually, with the lizard chef and the boar chef, I play specifically with um, Anthony Bourdain. There's a lot of puns here, and it's really funny. So with the puns, my carrying capacity for the boar and the lizard would be increased by one, and so everyone has a unique ability just like that. And then once you send out your chefs, it goes into step two, which is the shopping phase, and that's when you pick up all of your different types of ingredients. And there's, ultimately you're competing with other restaurateurs, right? And there's going to be a tiebreaker depending on whose chef's hat is in the lead. And then it'll break, there'll be this tie break, and then it'll reset, and then another person will be in the lead depending on how many players you play with, right? So you send out a chef, three different kinds, you send them all out, and then ultimately you can also get another type of chef called a zoo chef, ZOUS, zoo chef. They also have unique abilities too that you can pick up at the Chef's Academy. So in general, you do have like general locations that have a special type of ingredient, but then you also have the Chef's Academy, which has the zoo chefs. You also have the black market, which will generate random ingredient, and you won't know what it is. So oftentimes, I like to send the board there just to pick up a bunch of things that, who knows, they could be like a spice, which doubles the amount of points per ingredient. Because ultimately, what you're trying to do is gather up ingredients that have the most number of points, going from a value of 1 to 7. And there are these special spices that if you've seen the preview video. Also, Think of Themer did a video on this too, so you can see a lot of the components as well for now until some more creators show some more coverage. But there is this allspice that comes in that doubles the amount of points. And then there are also these critics that can triple the amount of points. So there's a lot going on. But ultimately, you send out your chefs, they gather ingredients, and you're trying to turn in your ingredients to complete challenges, ultimately trying to win the most stars possible. So that's a little snippet um, about Critter Kitchen. Let me see. Matt says, I thought the game last night went very well considering it was great on the fly adjustments. Yes, exactly. This is a prototype version, and you saw how freaking fun this is. Foglight says, Hi Tim, I've been looking at Critter Kitchen for a while. I'm excited to see more about it. Yes, exactly. It's super fun. Listening for sound bites on the Kickstarter page. Thanks, Peter. Sometimes publishers will use random sound bites on from what I'm saying, and half the time I'm looking at it, I'm like, I wish I said something a little more eloquent than I love this game and this is super fun and I wish I can play it over and over again. It cracks me up sometimes the quotes they use, but you have the Bonds with you in the CK video in Raw. Yes, Bonds was here filming with us. So actually, I'm going to talk about it a little bit when I go over some filming tips today. But we break down pretty much all the shots and angles and just a ton of different things. Mario, hi from Puerto Rico. Wow. Hi, thanks for tuning in. Squirt good risk reward. See, that's the thing. I think the risk reward, I was just telling a lot of people about this the other day, was that for me, the most fun thing about Critter Kitchen is that table talk that is incited when you are pre-programming your movements. And to see pretty much a live reaction of that, you can, like I said, watch my preview video later, where there's a segment where we go over one round, me and Bonds, and that's actually like how we played it out. So what you see in the preview video, the gameplay was not scripted. it was totally filmed like on the fly because I really like to do that. It makes the interaction and the chemistry just more natural, you know. But there's other things planned that, like I said, we'll go over very, very shortly. Peter says, "We'll give you the chance to phrase it just." I'm just kidding. Just you can use whatever you like. I'm totally kidding about that. All right. Next up. So, anyways, that's a little update about Cricket Kitchen, how it plays, just so everyone's on the same page. Like I said, you can check out the Kickstarter campaign page, my video, whenever you want to see more stuff about it. But today, ultimately, we're talking about filming Kickstarter previews or crowdfunding previews in general. So, for all of my filmmakers, videographers, photographers, all of my content creators that are tuning in, thank you for being here. And I am here to answer any and all of your questions today. If you want to level up your preview game, and for everyone else that is just here watching as well, I think it'd be really fun to talk about some insight on how filming preview video works too. Oh, wait, hold on, I gotta address this for a second. Peter says Critic Kitchen is better than Dwellings of Elderville and Andromeda's Edge. You know, you should just put that quote on there of me reading that segment and to see what people says. Oh god, that's funny. Wait, that actually cracks me up. Ingrid Squirt, really? You're all on the same page here? Really? We'll go with that. Tim says Critic Kitchen is the #1 game of all time. Look at that soundbite. Well, yeah. Okay. So, anyways, I wanted to. You guys are cracking me up here. I wanted to go over tips for general filming, and I'm going to look at my wannabe TED Talk presentation, if you don't mind, because I wanted to go over some tips for filming this. But overall, before I dive into this, I did want to explain my concept for all preview videos going forward, because I feel like let me shift over to the middle here because I'm not in the middle at all. I feel like for preview videos in general, the reason why I wanted to make this change, and I talked about this in a vlog as well, a couple vlogs, is that ultimately when we're doing previews, they have the same formula. And if you're here, Wolfpack, you know that I'm all against formulas. I don't like formulas because I just feel like there's so much more. I'm gonna speak only for myself. I don't speak for other creators. I feel like there's so much more that I want to give because I don't want each preview video to be like, here's a new game, same creator, same exact layout and everything, and I know what to expect as a viewer. There are some segments I obviously want you to expect. I want you to expect, you know, that high-end cinematography. I want you to expect just my excitement for the games that I'm covering because I'm not going to cover a game unless I'm excited about it. But there are a bunch of other things that I still want to keep you in the dark about. I want you to be like surprised and excited to watch each preview video. And for people that are tuning in, you know, after the campaign, I also want it to be like almost like a film, like, maybe not to that high end, but that's my goal at least, but I want you to, like, see this video as if it's a fresh video and it's something that you can come back to. So with that idea in mind, the premise behind this preview video, came from a ton of different sources of inspiration. And from, I think I heard this, I forget who I heard it from because I've been talking to so many people lately, um, but actually, it's a mix of people, it wasn't just one particular person. But a lot of game designers that I've been talking to recently they advocate for getting to the fun as fast as you can, and that's such an important thing for me. So when I heard that phrase, I was like, you know what? I feel like this can be applied to filming board games and filming these previews because I want to mix in a playthrough. I want to mix in getting to the fun fast, and then I want to mix in, of course, my own style for it. So that was the premise behind kind of revamping the idea behind filming previews. And ultimately, I wanted to just show just everything. I wanted to show you a snippet of the overall gameplay, giving you that cinematic intro. I wanted to mix in this relatability and just realism, you know, because we do have notes when we're filming because that's mostly because when I'm filming with other people, I don't want to waste their time, especially for Bond who's traveling far. Um, and I definitely do not want to waste their time. So I got to make sure that I'm not experimenting like I typically do on my own channel, just doing my own stuff. So when she's here, there's a timeline. We got bullets to hit. I also want to make sure I'm as accurate as possible going into these videos. And there's a lot of things that go into it that I got to make sure that I'm accountable for. So aside from that, I also wanted to mix in a gameplay like playthrough, like one round, just so you can get the gist of it and talk about it. Because ultimately, that's like I feel like that's the best thing for me to see whether or not I want to back a game is diving into a playthrough, getting deep into it, and I just want to have everyone that's watching this get into the fun, get into like a mid-round gameplay, and just quickly explain like it's not a tutorial, right? It's a preview. So I just want to give you a quick gist. This is how the game works. This is what we're doing on our turn, and get into the highlights of the game. Which for us, it was the pre-programming, like halfway through when you've already collected a ton of ingredients and scoring all that. See here, let me catch up with chat real quick. Matt says Dwellings and Flamecraft are great games. I'm sure Critic Kitchen will be too. Yes, totally agree. Varmore says, and wait till they get a wolf in there. Ooh, wouldn't that be a surprise? Peter says, if there's not a wolf in this game, forget it. There's a wolf in the back. I don't even know which soundbite to use anymore because these are all things that I would say. Fun fact, there is a wolf at launch. I'm sold. I'm sold. I'm here trying to hold back my opinions about this, but you already know that I can't wait for this game. Jamie says, does this have a solo option? Jamie, that is a fantastic question. I am going to be neutral in this party and say that you definitely want to keep an eye on the campaign to see how it develops. But uh, it'll be fantastic. How about that? Yes, bring in the wolves. Drop some wolf emojis down below if you're here from the wolf pack. Party on Dude says, yeah, me too. Playthroughs super helped me with deciding on it. Exactly, right? Because that's exactly how the game will be played out. And then for me as a viewer and as a backer, it's like, if I really resonate with this game, I gotta see how it's played out because talking about it, obviously amazing and stuff. Love the previews and reviews. I always listen to it in on every other creator's opinions and everything. But ultimately, I gotta see that playthrough. Because then I can like see whether or not it fits with my game group. Like that's the ultimate question for me. Will this fit for my game group? Yes or no? Christy says, I want all the foxes, Sandara. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Pretty much everything Sandara draws is like I just want to hang it up on the wall. Foxes, dragons, you name it. She makes everything look so ridiculously good. Good morning, May, Jade, Mark. Yes, thank you for all the wolves. Hello, everyone. Lady Valera says, Lady Valeria says, foxes with feather wings. I know. Because what's really cool too is that I saw Rosie post this, I think in the Facebook group, talking about how Sandara is kind of mixing different animals together. And I think it's such a brilliant idea. So, okay, let's dive into 5 tips before I keep ranting on about who knows what today. But we're going to talk about 5 tips. That way I give you some value for everyone that is tuning in, listening to some really helpful tips. These are things like I wish a live stream like this was available when I was first starting filming these board game previews because it's super helpful. And I just love doing them because it helps me break down my own process. And I just obviously love being able to share, what I know. So that was my first tip actually, which is where is the fun? That's if you had to take like one thing away from today, definitely ask yourself that question when you're filming. Where's the fun? Because everyone can tailor their own viewing experience, sorry, not viewing experience, filming experience, depending on where you think the fun is in a game. And that's what differentiates every game, right? That's why I'm such a big advocate for non-formulaic things because every game is so unique, right? It has its own theme, has its own mechanics. There's no way we can copy and paste that general formula when each game is so different. And getting to the fun is so important for influencing us how we're going to film that particular video. Like for Critter Kitchen, like I said, the playthrough, we're not going to have like a muted voiceover because in one segment of it, there's one segment where we're like sitting on our chefs, but we're not talking yet. We are voice overing our thoughts, like our real thoughts, as we are playing out our turns. And I was being super cocky in that video because I was like, I know exactly where Bonds is going to be. She's going to go to the black market with her board, try to pick up more stuff. And it ends up that I knew her. I know Bonds. Okay, I know how she plays. So it was one third, 30% random guess, 70% intuition, knowing where she was going to go. And it's moments like that that make gameplay really fun for me and filming extremely fun when you can uh, kind of to kind of tailor in those things and weave those things in, right? Just talk about the fun. So that was my first tip for you all today. Like I said, if you take one thing away from today, take away that question and ask yourself, where's the fun in filming board game previews just like this? Okay, now number two kind of plays off of that initial point. And what I said was if every game is unique, then the way that you film it should be too. That right there is what inspires me to make every preview video different. Now, of course, there are some similar segments that I'm going to use moving forward. Like I do want to use kind of like that muted voiceover and talk about it, but it's not going to work for every single game, right? Because sometimes you're not going to have pre-programming every game. So I feel like that wouldn't work if you're going to like a cooperative experience because you're right next to each other. Why would you kind of talk about your thoughts in your head unless like there's a specific part of the game that says do not talk with others and discuss. So that right there is my little rant about making each pre-video as unique as possible. Let's see here. X Stanber says next video we need the chefs as plushes being the players playing the game. Oh my god, the intricacies of making a plush that detailed is insane. But it's such a good idea though. Seriously, that's such a fun idea. It actually would be really fun though. Can you imagine like little players and then holding out the little plushy animal chefs? That's really funny. Christy, Ingrid, Emily, thank you all for dropping those wolf emojis. Welcome back, Wolfpack. I haven't said that in a long time. I missed that. I miss y'all. May Mihad War says playthroughs are what helps me decide if a game will still be great for me now. Exactly. Yep. I totally 1000% agree. And plus playthroughs too. I love watching them over and over again. Like Monique and Naveen from Before You Play. I watch the playthroughs like all the time when I'm like just working, washing dishes. Like I watch their videos everywhere. Tina says, I love all of Sandara's art. Yes. I've like tried to restrain myself from commenting on every single Instagram post that she does, but her teasers and her artwork overall, her art style for just all the games that she's been covering for Cardboard Alchemy gets me very, very excited. Sierra says, showing gameplay is definitely the fastest way to get me interested in a game. Since I'm newer to the board game world, I can't always visualize how something will play just by reading a description. You know, that's a really good point because I feel like when I'm creating videos like this, it's good to stay grounded because like yes, I still try to imagine myself as a viewer, but I know that it's been like many, many years now and people are joining our hobby at all kinds of stages. So knowing that beginners find playthroughs very, very helpful is also in turn helpful to me too. So that's really good to know. Thank you for sharing. Can't always visualize something. Yeah, that's a good point too. I can't always visualize something by just reading the descriptions. That's why videos are really helpful because I know there are reviewers that do written reviews too. I'm actually starting to write written reviews as well again, just because I came from I majored in English, so it's always been part of my creativity to write. I love writing and reading. So um, I was mentioning how like written reviewers too, like it's great and all, and I really love reading over different reviews too. But I think it's helpful to also like pair that with pictures or with video so you can see like the actual play of that. Squirt says needs more smoke effects. You know, I did think about it, but I also try to reserve smoke for games that like that would fit. Can you imagine if I filmed this with like LED lighting and smoke? It would not fit this vibe at all. This is more of like a light, airy family game. That's how we filmed it on a kitchen set. I love using that kitchen set. It's not mine, by the way. People always think that's my kitchen. It's not my kitchen. I wish it was, but I appreciate you all for thinking my house was that nice for that. Yeah, that kitchen was super nice. I love the colors. And that's also one other thing I want to mention. Actually, you've already talked about this, but another technical detail, and also I don't know how like technical you all want me to be for filming this. I know a lot of you just here to hang out, which is totally fine. But for lighting in this case, I get a ton of questions about lighting all the time. And what you see now, like this is natural light. I'm lucky to have just a big window. And at that kitchen, I for that pre video, we only used one thing, and that is not here in my office yet, but it is a foam board, which you can literally grab from like Walmart and just like tape a bunch of them together. Like the white and black foam boards you can see like Walmart, Target. If you tape them all together, it makes an amazing, amazing reflector. And the only source of light that we used for that pre-video, for the entire thing, for B-roll and all too, is we had one window light. If you're watching the video this way, the window light was on the left side, so towards Bonds. And then that right there was shining towards us, and there's no other light source used after that. The only other thing used was a reflector on the opposite side, and it was shown on the white side. Excuse me. The reason why the white side was shown is because it gives a very, very nice soft glow on this side over here. So if you want it to be more dramatic, you would flip it over to the black side, and then you would have a harsher shadow on your face. So that's why I always advocate for when every time people ask me for like lighting tips for videos like that. If you can, if you have a window, that's like one of the best places to think about where to set up your shot. Mark says, "Wow, I thought it was your kitchen. That's great." Yeah, I wish it was my kitchen, Mark. I wish, but it definitely isn't mine. Are you kidding me? I would film there all the time if it was mine. Um, May from Ameritrash Talk says, "I love the muted voiceover. It reminds me of reality shows when they cut away and you get the thoughts." Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, it's something we've been experimenting with. I'm glad that we got to use it for Critic Kitchen because it fit really well, and I we slightly used it for Call of Duty, but not to this extent. I feel like it fit perfectly here because, like I said, you're doing that pre-programming, and there are a lot of thoughts. I actually thought about this when I was playing the game with the designers and Peter at Cardboard Alchemy, and just thinking about what I was thinking in my own head. So that's what inspired me to film a shot like that. Part End Dude says, "I watch playthroughs while playing the game sometimes." Yes, actually, that's one main way that I also. Oh my god, a thumbs up bubble. Sorry for my squirrel attention span here, but yeah, watching playthroughs while I'm playing, especially like more difficult campaign games, is definitely the way to go for me too. Because I love tutorials and all, and I always watch it played before I start a video. But then I supplement it with playthroughs just to see just see if I can have the mechanics play in the right order and everything. Speaking of that, actually, I plan to do more streams on my channel. I ultimately want to do like a once a week thing because I just want to be committed to it, and it's really, really fun for me. Like, I really want to do more live streams. I've done a few in the past, but I do want to be more consistent on it and do some solo gaming here, some solo dwellings, solo Aquatica, solo Red Rising. There are a bunch of games that I really want to do solo and just hang out with y'all for like an hour a week. I feel like that's definitely doable, and I want to make sure I commit to that. But and ideally too, it would be on a Wolfpack Wednesday. That'd be more fun. Like I said, I was playing with my top-down camera setup, and we can't really see it here, but it's right above my monitor, testing that out. Elizabeth says, "I'm almost always watching playthroughs while I'm working." Yep, me too. We're starting to record our own boarding content, so I'm super excited for these tips. Oh, that's awesome, Elizabeth. Let me know what your channel is when you start working on that, because I would love to see and help out where I can. Oh, speaking of, that's what we're doing today, right? We're talking about filming tips. So the first one we talked about was, let's go and do a quick recap since I know I've been all over the place. First one, ask yourself where's the fun. Second one, think about look at that little bubble. Think about if every game is unique, then film it the way it should be too. And then a little bonus tip for lighting: think about window space because it is free, right, to have a window. And foam boards, that's like I'm telling you now, foam boards is the way to go. I've used foam boards in the very beginning because they're super cheap, very, very cost efficient. And to this day, they're great because they have very, very good reflection and diffusion of light. So oftentimes you'll see me use actually in this main studio setup, on top of like the natural light that you see here, I'll put a foam board right here in this corner. You'll never see it, but I'll put a foam board right here just to give again that nice soft diffusion. It works fantastically. Fantastically. It works brilliantly. Okay, now moving on to my third tip for today. I'm gonna see if I can show you this. I'm gonna take a picture of this real quick so I can show you the amount of camera angles. Okay, I know it's really hard to see, forgive me, but so see that? I know it's backwards too, but that right there is over 20 different types of shots used for this one video. And I didn't even know until I was breaking down like what tips I can provide for today. But for Critter Kitchen alone, we used over 20 different types of camera angles. And I do want to talk to them one. I'll talk about it, and then you can kind of visualize it and come back to this video if you want to like hear my reasoning for it. But again, I'll leave a link to this afterwards. But 20 different types of camera angles, and that's one big thing. Like the overarching point of this is that you want to introduce variety. Variety is ideally variety will captivate an audience and keep them interested in your video, right? On top of that, what's really important for publishers too, when you're working for previews for them, is that they want to make sure that they can showcase their game as much as possible. One way that we can do that as previewers is by introducing multiple angles, and you'll see exactly why I'm talking about these angles right now. But first off, I want you to think about variety. Okay, so the first one is your main angle shot. That's this one right here, right? Your main angle shot is the one that you saw in Critter Kitchen. That's with mean bonds, tripod, super simple, straightforward. Everyone knows this one. Okay. Second one. Oh, MPM says so 20 different cameras on the go at once. No, I wish I had 20 different cameras. I have three, but that day we used two. We used one main angle and we used one side angle, and then everything else I'll talk about shortly. But it's pretty much two camera angles, and we came back, or I came back to film like the B roll and stuff for that. But yeah, so that's the main angle. We have our classic top down angle, and the top down is the one that everyone uses, right? So we all know that one. We all know the main angle. We all know the top angle, the top down angle. That's your bread and butter. Okay, and then how I mix in some other things is the next one is slow motion. I loved using this one when you have some tactile components, right? So in Critter Kitchen, it was for the ingredients that dropped out of the bag. So like in the game, you're actually pulling out different ingredients and randomizing them across different locations. So I felt like it'd just be fun and dramatic to just see a hand reaching into the bag, pulling some ingredients out. So that's one really good way you can use slow motion. That's number three. Okay. Number four, this is your hero shot. It's one of my favorite shots to use in every video. And your hero shot is pretty much setting up the entire game. So when you see those huge hero shots with every single component, that's like one of my favorite shots. The next time I watch one of my videos, that's like something I just really think a lot about over. And it takes me hours to set up that shot because I just really want to make sure like this is the impact shot. This is the shot that gets people interested in the game. This is the one where you can see all the components just very real. And a lot of you have actually voiced that to me too in previous videos when I was asking about like feedback about this kind of work. But I said that I really loved this kind of tactile feel to it. So I love using animations when I can, but there's something about just being real with components and just having this tactile element to them and seeing how they scale to like your hand makes it more relatable when you're watching these kind of videos, which is super cool. But anyways, that was shot number four, which is the hero shot. Number five, this is the side point of view. So sometimes when you're playing games, you're gonna be looking over people's shoulders and stuff. You shouldn't be looking over people's shoulders for this game because some of it is supposed to be like secret. But that's one angle I love to use too for variety, a side point of view. So you actually will see hands in the shot, and then there's a camera just looking over them. That is shot number five. And then we go into shot three, four, five, six now, which is the detail shot. Now, this one, I do switch out lenses for this. And the question that I received recently too is like, what's the best board game lens, Tim? And for me, it's actually one of the cheapest. Okay, with a grain of salt here, okay? Photography equipment, nowhere near cheap, okay? I still am grounded on that. But the cheapest lens that I would recommend, that's also one of the best that you can possibly use, is the 100 millimeter macro lens. If you can, use a mirrorless camera and have a mirrorless setup for that. Like I'm going to speak from a Canon perspective because I shoot all Canon. But if you can shoot with a Canon RF 100 millimeter macro, oh, game changer, an absolute game changer. for board game photography because then you can get in all those crisp details that publishers want to showcase as well. And on top of that, like the viewers get just a totally different experience when they can see all like the little grains and the paintwork in meeples and everything, and it's just really really fun to show. So that's a macro shot. Manny, thank you for joining us. And wow, wow, yes, alive. I know I want to do these more frequently. So right now we're going over some camera angles that are really important that I wanted to share. So that's detail shot. Number 7 is the scale shot. So like I said earlier, it's really important to show like scale when you're holding components because then people can see like how big those meeples are. Like the board meeple is like this big, it's huge. Next one, number 8, we're gonna fire off 12 more, okay, back to back. Number 8 is the low angle shot. This one filmmakers typically use to like show confidence. So this one, it's like pointed up at the person that's talking. And for this one, I used it for Bonds when she was going over the details of the game and how the game works, because then there's like um, maybe for lack for a better term, but like there's this authority, right? That someone knows how to play the game and they're kind of just teaching you and just guiding you on how the game works. So that was a low angle shot. And in this one, there's you can see the window in the background, and no one's ever pointed this out, which is great. But I purposely blow out my windows because I want to put text over it, like black text, so it's a really stark contrast and it's easy for the viewers to see. And B, we also don't want to show like our our addresses and stuff. So that's why I purposely blow out my windows so we can have that information for you. Beatrice says, "I'm so late but excited to be here." Thank you for joining, Beatrice. Thank you so much for being here. It's not a problem at all. I'm glad you could make it, and I appreciate you taking time to be here. David says, "Any tips for getting clear, crisp overhead shots where you can read card text while maintaining a bit of distance?" Yes, that is all dependent on your C stand. So a C stand is pretty much a pole with wheels. This is how you're able to set up your camera over top. But if not, what I do and what I've also seen Rodney from Watch It Play does do as well is we set up a tripod and we just angle it downwards. Now the key here actually is the lens. If you can get a lens with a minimum focusing distance that can really get into detail for the shots, that's when you get really crisp, blurry backgrounds and that beautiful bokeh. Earlier, I mentioned the 100 millimeter macro. That's your go-to, or like a 35 millimeter, probably really good for shots like that. So the lens is going to be the biggest factor in deciding how crisp that card text is, while also maintaining distance so you get a nice blurry background. Richard got home late, so only just got started watching. No, it's totally fine. You're here now. That's all that matters. But hopefully you got some. You can get some rest after this. If you're working, if you're out with friends, I hope you had a good time. But anyways, let's fire off the last 12 shots real quick so we can I know we're I didn't realize we have like 12 minutes left. I had too much fun talking about this. Okay, next angle, the medium 45. So what this is right now, what you see here is pretty much like a medium shot. It's like a half body shot, right? And a 45-degree angle is just a little bit like over it. So earlier I said there was like a side point of view. This one's a little different because in this particular shot, you can see a bigger showcase of the components versus the point of view. A lot of the emphasis there is like seeing hands and seeing scale. So it's a little bit different. And like I said, I'll leave the link to this PowerPoint down below so you can see it and visualize it. Next one, ooh, one of my favorite shots. This one I hark on for all my second shooters all the time to the point where they get so annoyed and they do it all the time though. So every time I annoy Josh and Bonds about this, they're on it. And this is the over the shoulder shot. Oh, Peter says, don't forget Kim Joy is going to be baking critters and making fun. Yes, she is. I'm going to go over the timeline very, very shortly. I'm going to fire this up real quick. But Kim Joy, make sure you all stay here after. She's doing a whole. I saw her Instagram yesterday and she posted the BTS of it. But she's doing a whole baking segment here. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait for it. And definitely stay tuned. Okay. So if anything, make sure you have the Potion Con schedule up. Just go to Potion Con. Let me give you the exact address. Potion Con. I'm going to link it here in chat so you have it. Right there. So definitely have the schedule pulled up for what's coming up next. But let me go and fire off the last 10. Okay. Let's see. Main low angle. This one's similar to what I was talking about earlier, but it's the main angle shot. But this time, we're aiming the camera like this. So this one I used when I was talking about like what we're doing in the game. Really important again when you're teaching. It's good to do like a low angle shot because it gives that tone of like they know what they're doing and they're here to guide you. Next one, close point of view for shot number, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12. The close point of view, this one is pretty much so if you notice a lot of these shot angles, they're like plays on distance. So either wide, medium, close, and then angle, right? 45, 90 point of view. And that's what this one is, a close point of view shot. Then you also have the card fan. So this one, I love this one because it really makes you feel like you're the one playing the game because you have a whole hand of cards, in this case, the location cards, and it's really nice up and close to see Sindar's artwork. We also have the across the table shot. This one I don't use too often, but it is good to introduce because it is reversed. So you see the components in reverse, but it makes you feel like the viewer is across the table from the person that you're showing. That's why I love using this one because it gives you that familiarity and just like here, right? Just like as if you're sitting across the table from here playing game. Number 15, the second camera angle. This one, staple two as well. So you have your main angle, you have your top down, and side angle I just like to use at a 45-degree, just so you get something different. And this is also important too, because then if you're talking like with a little aside, you can talk to that camera too and be like, um, this is Critter Kitchen, which by the way, is made by Cardboard Alchemy. Something like that. Right. So that's the second angle. And then we also have the top-down detail shot, similar to what David was asking about earlier. This is you have your top down, but this time you're really, really close, so that way you get a nice flat perspective on being able to read the cards. So, David, if you get a chance, definitely check out my previous video. You'll see that top-down detail shot that I was talking about earlier. And for that particular lens, I did use a 28 to 70, in case you're curious. Last four. This one is fun. This is the negative space. So this one I had all three chefs and then all empty space right here. Reason why is because then you can put text explaining what each of them do separately. And then last three, this next one is the showcase shot, showing all of the cards and artwork as much as possible. I use something called an acrylic riser that I've talked about many times on my channel. But an acrylic riser, game changer, it's 12 bucks, and you can pretty much put cards in different tiers, and then you can really showcase a lot of the card artwork and everything. And the last two, we have the immersive shot, very similar to a point of view. This one, I'm actually off on the side and Bonds is filming me on the right side. And this is where we're counting the scores. So when you see that end game scoring and I'm kind of drifted onto the side, it really is able to immerse the viewer as if you're competing with me with that end game scoring. So very similar, very, very similar to a point of view. And the last one, the ending shot, similar to a showcase, showing everything kind of just, this one is the most I guess this one needs the most gear because I do use a gimbal for this one and I do switch different lenses. But this is where you're showing everything, keeping it super stable and just kind of panning through all the components. Okay, let me go catch up on chat real quick and then we'll go over the schedule. So if you have any other questions on this, feel free to message me or leave me comments and I will get to them. But again, I will leave all this link below. And Manny says, hooray for Potion Con. Yes. When can we see a preview of the game by Stephanie? The video is live. You can check it out here on my channel. And then there'll also be a ton of other creators talking about this too. Denima says, does anyone know what you're supposed to do in the potion room? The potion room, is that for like the Discord channel? Because for that one, I think if I'm understanding correctly, the potion room, and Peter, go ahead and feel free to chime in when you can. The potion room, I think, is supposed to be at 6 p.m. when you're tuning in with Thinker Themer and Jenna. They're doing a playthrough later on. Brothers, hello, Nick, Mike, how y'all doing? We got to catch up soon because I heard your announcements. A lot of stuff going on for you. I'm excited for you all, but hopefully we can grab lunch or something later. Oh, it's the puzzles, right? Yeah. Mike, good to see you. Okay, let's talk about the schedule of Potion Con, and we'll wrap things up here. That way, I don't take up time from Kim Joy. Okay, so next up, y'all, in about 6 minutes, Kim Joy is doing a baking special. If you don't know who Kim Joy is, she is a masterful baker. She's been on TV, Netflix shows. and she's done incredible work. She does a lot of custom decoration for different baking themed goods. And I can't wait to see what she does on Critter Kitchen. It's gonna be wild, y'all. So don't miss that. I have left a link to the schedule where you can literally click on each person throughout the day. There are events happening throughout the entire day. So that's at 10 a.m. 1 hour after that, we have the Hungry Gamer doing a segment called Board Games and Bites, and not board, BORED gaming. And then we got Grant, one and only comedian. So he is doing a segment at 12 p.m. I know he's been rehearsing for this and been doing putting in a ton of hard work. So y'all, he has a really fun segment. I can't wait for y'all to see that one. 1 p.m. Manny Vega, the one and only, is talking about some behind the scenes for Flamecraft. 2 p.m. we have Alex Cutler and Peter C. Hayward, who are the designers for Critter Kitchen. They're talking about cooking up games, and I got a chance to play the game with them. I love playing games with the designers, y'all, because the way they approach games is just out of this world. Like the way they can calculate things and just anticipate things just makes me really fun. Excited to play with them. It's really fun. Next up, Rich Molina. So the puzzle segment at 3 p.m. is canceled, y'all. So from y'all, I don't know why I went southern for a second. Y'all. So for 3 p.m., that segment is canceled. Rich unfortunately cannot make it. But right after 4 p.m., you guys get a little break because Sandara is doing a drawing segment, and oh my god, I'm really excited for that one. And then 5 p.m., we have the top 5 games if you like Flamecraft with the full 42. Definitely check out the YouTube channel if you haven't seen them already. And then lastly, we are finishing today with some of my friends from Thinker Themer and Jenna from the Board Game Garden. They're playing Critter Kitchen. We've been talking about this all day, where the best way to see whether or not a game is fit for you is by seeing a playthrough. Here's your chance, y'all. All my friends are playing Critter Kitchen tonight on Discord, 6 p.m. Don't miss it. It's gonna be fun. So that's the schedule for today. And then tomorrow, we're gonna have, let's see, I'll talk about tomorrow too. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., they're doing some hot Kickstarter questions. So if you have any questions about this game, this is the place to ask them. Next one at 10 a.m., we have board game chat with the head alchemist of Cardboard Alchemy. Ooh, that's gonna be fun too. So I will be tuning in for that. Again, if you have any questions about this game, that's gonna be the place to ask it to. 11 a.m., we got Tantrum House. They are doing a segment over there from 11 a.m. And then to close off the Potion Con ceremony, we have Rosie at 2 p.m. doing the cozy after party. Perfectly fit, perfect way to end the con. And I'm excited for that as well. So, catch on this here. Brother saying, dude, we would love that. Yes, absolutely. Please. I would love to have lunch or something and just hang out, man. That'd be really fun. Squirt says, how would you shoot if you all you had was a phone camera? Angles make it exciting. Hey, you know what? Phone cameras, this was all my initial videos in the beginning, and that was with the phone camera. Nowadays though, these things shoot in friggin' 4K, and they even shoot 4K 120, 4K 60. That's pretty much every video setting that I have on my DSLR. So do not underestimate the tech that we have nowadays with our phones. They look really good. My biggest tip for using a phone to film is learn color grading. If you learn color grading, and especially like the latest iPhone, the titanium one, that one has an insane amount of detail. Like I couldn't even I'm trained to it so I can tell, but I think normally if I didn't like really know, I wouldn't have been able to tell that it was phone footage. That's how good phones are nowadays. So yeah, like with a phone, they're also easier to manipulate too because you can fit them in really weird, strange places, like in a drawer and in the box itself. Like I can't put my camera in a box. Like that would be a really fun angle. You just open the box and your phone is just like recording at you, giving you like a little expression, like "Whoa, new box opening." So with phones, you can get really creative with it. And if you have any underwater games like that, you can film stuff underwater too. Can't do that with a DSLR. All right, y'all. I do not want to take away from Kim Joy's segment. Like I said, definitely check out the link at PotionCon to see her segment. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate y'all for spending your Saturday morning or Saturday night, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you. Wolfpack, you all the best. let's leave everyone with some wolf emojis down below if you made it here. I'm excited to see you all, hang out with you all a lot more on my channel. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing some more lives on a weekly basis. That's the goal here, to do some solo dwellings. It's gonna be so sick. Solo dwellings and solo bunch of other games. So I'm gonna be working on that. I'll keep you all posted. And there's a ton of content coming for my channel too. So um, yeah, I'm very, very excited to tell you about more. This is gonna be a big week for everybody. But other than that, Potion, Cardboard Alchemy, thank you all so much for having me as well. And yeah, Creative Kitchen, y'all. Tuesday, don't miss it. You're gonna love it. And I will be tuning in with the rest of you all today. So with that said, thank you all so much. Have fun today. Thank you for having me again to open up PotionCon, and I will see you all very, very soon. So goodbye, everyone. I'll see you later. Goodbye, goodbye. Yeah, bring in those wolf emojis. All right, y'all. I'm tuning out for real. Goodbye.